All right, this is our next episode of True Wrestling Fans Discussions. This is going to be a third part of our Macho Man Randy Savage series. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank, and let's get into this. We're gonna kick off with 1990. So we're gonna start with and kick this off still with a feud from 1989 with Hulk Hogan. They're through 1989 they had an ongoing on and off feud,
Mhm.
but it culminated on February 23rd, 1990 on the main event 3. Special guest referee, new boxing champion Buster Douglas was supposed to be Mike Tyson, but unfortunately, with Tyson losing the title, um, I don't know if it was WWE or Mike. Do you know if which one of them backed out of the deal? I think it was
No, it was
Tyson.
Tyson that backed out. Yeah.
Okay, so now here's how it's funny how this feud ends because it's on controversy. Despite kicking out at the 2 count, Buster Douglas actually counted the 3 count for Hogan, and Hogan gets the victory, even though Savage kicked out on this. Afterwards, Savage slapped Douglas, and obviously then Buster Douglas punched out Savage. You gotta have this moment.
He hit him
The
twice.
box, the boxing
To
moment.
his credit, he Buster Douglas, they had spoke backstage and he didn't really want to like connect at all. He was nervous. He's not a
Mhm.
wrestler. He knows how to throw real punches. So he kind of like tapped him and then Macho Man told him like hit him for real and then he connected. Not even he didn't hit him that hard, but still it looked better the second one. He hit him
Yeah.
with like a 1-2, I think, right?
hmm
And he goes down.
I love when they get the boxer wrestler thing in there, especially my favorite was Tyson and Sean.
Yeah, and this was
Shawn
what
Michaels.
yeah, this was billed as their last match, right? I think the end of
Yeah,
their feud
yeah. This culminated
was
it,
billed
which
as
of course he kicks out of the 2 count and Buster counts to 3. So of course we're gonna do this. But this ended it finally because this was after the Rumble. Everybody's got the thing in their ear of Hogan and Warrior at this point. So now Savage is moving on to another feud of his, which I actually like this feud, and I actually like how he had it was a first at WrestleMania 6 for this intergender tag team match. His next feud was the American Dream Dusty
hmm
Rhodes, which was two former heavyweight champions. Why not do the feud? I mean, they were pretty good in the ring. Like I said, they had the mixed tag match at WrestleMania 6. Dusty Rhodes brings out the crown jewel, which was Elizabeth. Savage and Sherry lose at WrestleMania 6 to Dusty and Sapphire, thanks to part of Elizabeth getting physical in this. So she always still had the bad blood
yeah.
with Sherry. So,
hmm
but I like the match.
It was all right. It was like
Would I rather have seen just Dusty and Savage fight 1-on-1? Yeah. Did we get that later on? Yeah, and it was a shit
yeah.
fest. So towards the end of the 1990s, Savage began a feud with WWE champion after the whole thing with Dusty Rhodes. That culminated at SummerSlam. Again, like I just said, the first match wasn't as good as the second match wasn't as good as the first. And what's funny is with that feud, before I get into the whole Warrior thing for a minute, before Savage finishes his feud with Hogan, Savage started this feud at the Rumble with Dusty on the Brother Love show, conveniently. So that's where a lot of
I was
feuds
like,
started
oh,
for WrestleMania at Royal Rumble.
hmm
Of course, it's going to be a Brother Love show. But towards the end of 1990, as Savage was done, pretty much done with Dusty Rhodes, at Survivor Series, he came out and he was deeming himself the number one contender for the WWE Championship. And by this point, why not? I mean, he was still on top of the game, on top of his game. Why not give him a title shot? And Warrior and Savage, you book that match, it's going to draw. So they did the whole thing where Savage is getting denied. Sherry asked him on the Brother Love show, and remember when we did the Survivor Series, she slapped him not once, not twice,
yeah.
but 3 times. Even at the Royal Rumble '91, when I don't know about the whole begging thing that she did, but I like the fact that they show you the Savage in the back waiting to see the answer,
hmm
and she gives Warrior a kiss, and he's over there smiling
Yeah, yeah.
and sniffing the whole thing. I thought that was good stuff, and then he gets into his whole thing. No, and I'm like,
Yeah, that's
oh.
good stuff.
And I'm thinking back then, watching the Rumble, I'm like, this is not going to bode well for his title match later on. I don't think. And sure enough, Savage cost the Ultimate Warrior the title because he cut the promo that said, well, Slaughter wins it. I've been guaranteed a title shot. Yeah, right. So he cost him the title. So now he's pretty much the marked man for the Ultimate Warrior.
Bro, he hit him with the scepter.
Woo!
And
He destroyed him.
He actually hit him for real. You hurt on another thing. He hurt Warrior.
You can see the glass shards like all over the place.
Then Warrior puts it into his promo, which was pretty cool. He's like, so he incorporated it into his promo.
And that was kind of the first time you see Savage with the bigger scepter, because he always had the little one. Now this one's got this huge. And he, half the night he was involved in that match. He's chasing Sherry away. Savage catches him down the aisle. Then he comes back and just wham, just caught him real good. So later that night, Savage failed to appear in the Rumble. I don't know if it was they led to speculation that Savage fled the arena in order to avoid Warrior. I don't know what the deal was. I know it was number 18, I believe.
I don't know. I haven't seen it in years. I don't remember, but that sounds about right that he was scared of Warrior, so he got the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, because he figures Warrior will show up in the Rumble and eliminate him. So this led to one of the best matches ever, and to me, the main event of WrestleMania 7, the career-ending match between Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior, which Savage lost after much deliberation with Warrior and his Warriors. Is this my time?
Oh, this was a tremendous match. I mean, this is Warrior's best match as far as I'm concerned. And they had
even both of them. Really.
Yeah, and they had planned it out. I think Warrior trained with him too. I think Warrior might have gone down to his house in Florida or something like that, and they had gone over the match. They worked really hard. They had a lot of good chemistry together. And they told such a great story in the match. Macho Man with all those elbow drops. Him kicking out of Warrior's finish. Even the entrance with Warrior walking out slowly. We never saw him walk out slowly. The jacket, the tights said means more than the belt. Had the Sherry there too.
Elizabeth. Now all of a sudden, Bobby Heenan spots Elizabeth, who now at ringside. Which it's amazing how we can see her 8 rows back and whatnot. But whatever.
Yeah. So,
and then the constant Warrior constantly hitting him with the shoulder tackle. He's falling out of the ring, brings him back in, just pins him with the boot, and takes his jacket and walks off. And now they're like, Sherry's out of a job too, and now she's irate. She's kicking him, she's beating him. Elizabeth couldn't take it anymore. She runs down there, she throws her out of the ring. Now he thinks when he comes to that Elizabeth is beating him up. And he's trying to figure out what's going on. He sees her. She's talking to him. He sees how irate. She's cursing him out at ringside. So this was a really cool time when they changed him back to fan favorite. The two of them hugging, puts her on his shoulder. I mean, it was very emotional. They showed all the fans in the crowd. I thought it was
crazy.
Cool.
Everyone was happy for that, to see them back together.
Yeah, because that's the one thing that was missing from Savage at ringside was Elizabeth for the last couple of years. So good way to go off into the night. Funny side note, this wasn't Savage's last match.
No, yeah, technically, it wasn't. Technically, it wasn't. Yeah.
The night after, there was on a Coliseum video, I had seen it. He fought the model Rick Martel, and Elizabeth was at ringside with him, and Monsoon and Lord Alfred Hayes were doing the commentary, and they were talking about how this is his last contractual match. And then he beat Martel, and the fans gave him a standing ovation and with Elizabeth. So I thought that was cool. So, although he retired, like I said, he did he did wrestle a few more matches. Like I said, Model Rick Martel was his last one as of that point. He on July 30th, 1991, he made an untelevised return to the ring in Portland, Maine, on Wrestling Challenge. He and some people didn't know this one. He substituted for the Ultimate Warrior and pinned The Undertaker. So, in case anybody doesn't know that one, that happened. He also, in 1991, and I thought was cool, right as Hogan's feud with Slaughter was ending, they had a Desert Storm match in Denver, Colorado, in which Randy Savage was a special guest referee in that one. And the only really thing I had kind of seen, I had put it on YouTube. I'm like, what the hell is a Desert Storm match even back then? They were just both in camouflage. It was pretty much no disqualification match. I mean, they had there was another match the two of them had besides the Desert Storm match. I forget. I'll bring it up in Hogan's thing because it doesn't pertain right now. But it was cool to see Savage was involved in that, and he was doing some commentary too at this point, so he wasn't quite all the way out. They also I also found out he also subbed for Warrior at house shows in early August against The Undertaker, but we know why they did that because of the whole SummerSlam thing. So this was Warrior's feud with Undertaker. Randy Savage kind of took over, but they were televised. So in any event, at SummerSlam, you go on. He was actually the main event, if you want to really say that. I mean, match made in heaven. Why not? The wedding with Elizabeth, which I thought was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, on Peacock, and it's not. I don't. Again, you like you said, it could have been WWE as well on the Coliseum video. I remember seeing the video because I didn't see this one live, unfortunately, and I really wanted to go to it. It's in Madison Square Garden. I saw a lot more of the reception on the video than I do now, because I always made fun of Savage for years when he when he's opening up the presents. He goes, "Ooh, a blender," and she's like, "Randy," before the whole snake incident. Mm-hmm. You watch it now; it's not on there.
Yeah.
But what was cool leading up to Match Made in Heaven was when it was on Superstars, and the whole place is going nuts because I think they kind of knew what was going on, and he's getting all nervous. He says her name like, what was it, 8-10 times? Elizabeth. And Piper's and I think it was Vince McMahon was doing the commentary on that one.
I don't know. I haven't seen this in years.
And Piper's like, oh, he's getting nervous, man. He's going to walk. And he gets down to one knee and the whole place, literally the roof almost blew on this. I mean, this was just awesome. And he finally gets it out to her, "Will you marry me?" And I love the oh, yeah. So I thought that was cool, which leads to SummerSlam, the wedding. It was a nice music video tribute that they did. Again, the song was changed now if you watch it as opposed to back then, probably because they lost the rights to it. I prefer the one before, but don't matter anymore. They did a nice little video package for them. The wedding reception was nice. Of course, when we get to the reception now and everything, that's where the real fun begins. And they open up one of the presents, and lo and behold, here's Lucifer. Now, this is a storyline they had started a couple of weeks prior on Primetime Wrestling when Jake Roberts was snubbed from being allowed to attend the bachelor party. And I think that this is where they needed to come up with something with him, because now his alleged main event push, could be real, could be not, whatever. His feud with the Warrior was gone. It was over, unfortunately. So there was something else that they had to do. So they started a storyline with Savage, and him being snubbed for the bachelor party. I felt bad for Jake a little bit, but it was kind of funny at the same time.
Funny, yeah.
It was just him, just everybody's laughing at him and stuff. It's good stuff. And so the snake comes out of the box. Everybody's freaking out. Here comes Jake Roberts and the Undertaker. I just love how at a wedding all of a sudden Sid just happens to be
Sid Justice, yeah.
Yeah, Sid just happens to be there with a chair. And I love it. Well, obviously, this is kind of like the Uncle Elmer thing. They, they were doing this in the back locker room type thing. So, or taped somewhere else at the same time.
Yeah, more than likely they taped it beforehand.
So Sid comes to the rescue on this, so Jake and the Undertaker, and the whole time during SummerSlam, everybody was like, are they here? Were their whereabouts? We don't know. Are they up to something? Well, there they crashed the wedding. What are you gonna do? Unfortunately. So, in any event, now, he was still unable to wrestle. And he was actually, Savage began at this point, right after SummerSlam, he began a campaign.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing this on Superstars to be reinstated. However, Jack Tunney refused it, said, "That's it, it's final, it's over, you lost, blah, 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 whatever." During this, Roberts cut a series of promos berating Savage at this point. On October 21st, 1991, on Superstars, Roberts lured Savage into the ring. This was the snake bite promo, which obviously we've said before was changed, because the original recipient of the snake was supposed to be Sid Justice. And because he was out injured, they changed it. I think it went better this way, in my opinion, since they had the feud between the two. going, so why not do it this way? And this was one of the most amazing promos I have ever seen. And as a kid, my jaw dropped. I was just like, you can't be serious that they're doing this. The snake is biting him. Is it devenomized? Which
it's pretty wild at the time.
And Savage, of course, is just the fact that you're allowing this snake to chew on your arm for several minutes. I mean, you'd have to give me a raise.
Yeah, Macho Man was really hesitant. They had to really convince him to do it.
I don't blame him, man. Yeah. And then he's really selling the venom going through him as he's falling down. He's trying to hit him.
It was good. It was good stuff.
The whole promo was good. And like I said, the one thing that they had cut from now that I remember seeing in the original Survivor Series Coliseum video was when Roddy Piper was down there and they finally get Savage on the gurney. He's running with him and Savage falls off. And Vince is like, oh, no. And then they get him back on there and now they're walking on it. It was. And as a result of this, Jack Tunney now reinstates Randy Savage, but not for Survivor Series, but for this Tuesday in Texas, which I thought was crap because, okay, Sid is out with an injury. He's captaining his team. Jake was captaining his team. Why not just replace Savage with it? Even if you're going to still fight it this Tuesday in Texas, at least do it. Give us a piece of it at the Survivor Series.
Yeah, they would just, like I said, they would when we did Survivor Series. They were probably just trying to sell that pay-per-view, and they didn't want Randy and Jake locking up beforehand.
Christ, it was a 6-minute match.
Yeah,
they gave us nothing except the aftermath was longer.
Yeah,
I mean, I really wanted to see these two finally go at it and tear each other apart.
Yeah, it was a shame. It was a shame. The only good part was when Macho Man, as Jake was walking out to the ring, Macho Man comes in and he attacks him.
He clobbers him,
Yeah, and they go at it, and he eventually wins the match.
With the elbow drop.
Yeah. And then
tries to hit him with the bell, and that's when Jake takes over and hit him with 3. Yeah, oh man. And talk about a guy that we said this in the Tuesday in Texas review. Talk about a guy that can do it the best. The inventor of it, and nobody can do it better, in my opinion. Maybe Tommy Dreamer, I don't know. But Jake Roberts hits him with 3 DDTs. Elizabeth comes down. Now she's over him, telling him to stop. Randy, are you okay? Do you love him? Tell me you love him. And she's like, yes. And then he picks her up. He pops her one. I know storyline, but still, I didn't like it. And I mean, and then after we talked about this on that review, Savage cut one of the most personal promos at the end, beating himself up about it. He's on the floor.
No, it was really good stuff. That was a great promo.
Yes, it was. I mean, and then the way they did that storyline was just, all right, if you've gotten to this point, you've got to end this at Rumble or WrestleMania. You can't just, Saturday Night Main Event's not going to cut it.
Yeah, well, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. So the feud actually ended February 8th, 1992. Speaking of Saturday Night Main Event.
Did they lock up at the Royal Rumble at all? Because I don't remember. I haven't seen that.
Every time when Roberts got into the ring first, his number was several down from Savage. But every time the buzzer went off, Roberts was looking.
Yeah.
When Savage finally got his number called, he jetted to the ring. He ran after him, and Roberts actually went under the ring, and he was hiding until he figured out where he was. They got each other. Now, here's what's funny, and I'll mention this again in the Rumble review. It don't matter how you go over the top rope. Once you go over the top rope, you're eliminated.
Yeah.
Okay. Jake Roberts gets eliminated at the hands of Randy Savage. Savage jumps over the top rope. Both feet hit the floor. He's beating him up.
Yeah.
Savage is able to continue in the
He eliminated himself.
Yeah. Yep. But he was down, I believe it was the final 4. Or final 5, somewhere in there. Yeah. But he was in there. Okay, so explain to me how he's back in this Rumble.
I don't know. No.
Nobody can explain that to me. So they screwed the pooch on that one. In any event, their feud culminated there. And Savage won that match on Saturday Night Main Event. Now, here's where the fun part came in. Jake the Snake Roberts was on the other side of the curtain, with the steel chair, and he's telling, I think it was Mean Gene, I don't care which one of them comes through first, I'm gonna whack him with it. And the announcement, Vince McMahon, come on, we gotta tell Randy, and he's yelling, Randy, don't go through. And then what if it's Elizabeth? And all of a sudden they come through. I thought it was a half second, like you knew the story they were going to do this, but it was like the minute they came through the curtain, it's like he came through and automatically ducked. And I think it was like before he even kind of saw him. But as he goes to hit him, the Undertaker's got the chair.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden the Undertaker has a heart in this.
All of a sudden, yeah, Undertaker turned babyface.
Well, we saw it at Survivor Series in Tuesday, Texas, the pop that he was getting, and even in the Rumble, the huge pop the Taker was starting to get. I believe they figured they had to do this.
That's why they made the move. Yeah.
Yeah. So and with Jake, and I'll get to this in his episode. With Jake on his way out of WWE, pretty much he was going to no-show. Just a quick side note: he was going to no-show WrestleMania if he wasn't given his release. So I think that's why they tombstoned him on the thing. He wanted Pat Patterson's writing job. That's what it all was. Patterson had to step away for the ongoing court battle that he was going through. So Jake wanted the job. They told him no. So he said, well, either release me out of my contract or I'm going to no-show WrestleMania. So that's why that was his last. And what's funny is during this whole time in February, with Savage feuding with Roberts, Hulk Hogan had gotten into this a little bit as well. And I remember the house show, the card that they used to give out. One of them, and again, I can't find the exact date. Hogan and Savage teamed up against Jake and the Undertaker before this happened. On Saturday Night Main Event, and then eventually Hogan took over the feud with Roberts when Undertaker had turned. So I thought I was like, okay, why is Hogan getting involved with Jake? He's got his own stuff going on. It was just, I don't know.
Yeah, they should have had like a Mega Powers reunion on the Saturday Night's Main Event.
One night only.
Yeah,
just have the two of them face
Jake.
That would
cool.
And even if it was Flair and the Undertaker, or Sid and the Undertaker, eventually it became. I mean, any one of those combinations.
That would have been cool. It's worth mentioning that Macho Man was also at that WrestleMania press conference to see if he was going to get the title shot. Yes. I mean, obviously Jack Tunney, I guess, picked Hogan ultimately, but
Savage was like,
he was there. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, he was upset like the rest of them, but he wasn't Sid who was standing up thinking it was already his. In any event. So after now the whole thing with Jake Roberts is over, unfortunately, handled wrong. So after his feud with Jake the Snake Roberts, he'll move on to WrestleMania 8 with his feud with Ric Flair. And I'm gonna leave it there because we'll cover that in the next episode. His going back on top of the world at WrestleMania 8 all the way to his demise of 1994 when he left. So, all
right.
I mean, overall, this review, I mean, it was pretty good. He had a couple of good feuds, career ending. Yeah, why not? I mean, he got reinstated, but the storyline with that was just. I mean, it was good. The wrestling was good. Just the way the timeline that they did it.
Could have been better.
Where you had no pay-per-view.
It was good. It's memorable, but it could have been better.
Yeah.
So, all right, you guys make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. See you guys soon.
Take care.